Welcome, or wrist, and welcome to another review. This is the Seiko SNK357, and I think it's Seiko's hidden gem. Seiko 5s are a staple in the realm of Seiko and the watch world in general, and I'm sure most of us have owned at least one Seiko 5 in our watch collecting journey. It's no secret that Seiko 5 watches appeal to a mass audience with their pleasing and sometimes unique designs, and they pretty much cater to anyone looking for something that fits their taste. They have a certain charm to them, and this SNK357 is no exception. Here are the dimensions and specs. The SNK357 has a case diameter of 37mm, lug width of 18mm, a lug-to-lug of 41mm, thickness of 10.5mm. It has a water resistance of 30 meters and 41 hours of power reserve from its 7S26 movement. This little watch has something big up its sleeve: its dial. At first glance, the dial may appear unassuming and quite simple, but upon further inspection, something magical reveals itself. Behind a deep blue sunray veil is a cascade of texture in the form of Seiko 5 logos. This combination of color and design really creates a special visual experience, akin to that of some grand Seiko dials, yet it's presented in a package far less than $1,000. In fact, you can find these for less than a few $100s. In the light, the dial truly comes to life, exhibiting its glorious blue hue and showcasing its littered dial. Although it may seem prominent in certain angles, you have to be up close to really see and appreciate the Seiko 5 logos, giving the watch a subtle edge as to remain hidden in plain sight. Now, when we take the watch into lower light settings, the dial assumes a darker shade, and in some cases can even appear black. Without an adequate amount of light, the logos tend to disappear into the backdrop, but will peek out as light reflects onto the dial. This really adds a whole bunch of character and interest to the timepiece, and it's just so much fun to look at. I always find myself staring at this dial, trying to angle my wrist into the light to expose the Seiko 5 shield motif. Sitting on the dial are applied indices, applied Seiko and shield logo, and a framed day date window. The indices are polished and tie in well with the polished hands, giving the watch a touch of flashiness. We also get lume on the hour markers and hands, making it legible even in the night. So the watch has a magnificent dial, but surely that's all it has going for it, right? Wrong. The Seiko SNK357 sports an excellent case that really deserves its own merits. Now, when it comes to Seiko 5 watches, their cases are, well, simple in design and rather one-dimensional, except for a select few. The SNK357 is part of the Seiko 5 family, but its case doesn't feel like a Seiko 5. To me, the case evokes an architecture resembling the older Presage designs and demonstrates a Japanese watch DNA. It has an elegant sweeping case with wide beveled edges extending to the lugs. It also has a curved side profile structure. It reminds me of the Saab era and even shares similarities to some grand Seiko cases. It's brushed on the top of the lugs with a polished bevel, which works well to soften the edges and gives a roundness to the overall shape and flows into the polished sides. The case has a pocket for the crown to slot into, reducing the amount of protrusion. However, it can make it difficult to pull out the crown, and its relatively small size does make it a little finicky to function. But its size does aid in a more sleek appearance. We also find a display case back to enjoy the movement. Now, it may not be the prettiest and lacks some basic functions like a hacking seconds and hand winding, but for the price you're paying, it's not a bad thing to have at all. Also keep in mind, if this is your first watch, it's simply amazing to see the inner workings of your timepiece, as it provides another avenue for appreciation. Looking at the bracelet, this is where things start to get a little shaky. It has hollow end links with a folded 5-link construction, but gives the illusion of more individual links due to its rather interesting design. I'd say this is a busier take on a flat Jubilee type bracelet with polished elements between the brushed components, and there's definitely a lot going on with this bracelet, so much so that I don't think it matches the watch head as well as it could. Not only that, its build quality is rather abysmal. Its hollow nature makes it very jangly and fragile. You can literally bend and deform the links with little effort. It feels extremely cheap, and this is probably where most of their cost was saved. Even the way the links are adjusted feels unsecure, and it's just an eyesore with all the visible cavities. Its articulation is also limited and feels stiff when handling the watch. However, when on wrist, it's not noticeable at all, and it's surprisingly comfortable. Its compact size allows it to sit comfortable, and its curvature helps it contour around the wrist. The small crown and position at 4 also moves it out of the way to allow for unimpeded movement. Overall, the Seiko SNK357 hits it out of the park in terms of dial and case design. They truly carry the watch when you put it side by side with other Seiko 5 offerings. In today's world, the movement seems outdated and lacking, but keep in mind, this watch is quite affordable, even in comparison to other Seiko 5s today. The bracelet is definitely a letdown, and it can be a deal breaker for some. Fortunately, there are some aftermarket options to alleviate this issue, be it straps or bracelets. Ultimately, the Seiko SNK357 presents a package that far exceeds its price and demonstrates a high level of execution even at lower price points. Let me know what you think about the watch in the comment section, and let me know if there are other hidden gems I should look out for. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more watch content. I'll see you in the next one.